Hi, you guys. Welcome to Bright Violet Arts. My name is Valerie, and today I'm setting up my bullet journal for the month of August 2024. I'm using an A5 size notebook from Archer and Olive, and the A&O notebooks typically have these attached ribbon bookmarks that match the color of the cover. And since my color is this beautiful, like wine, mulberry sort of color, I've decided to challenge myself in a color palette sense to use that mulberry color on every page in every color scheme throughout the notebook, which is going to have a 6-month lifespan. It's going to go from July 1st to December 31st. So it's just a way to try to stretch myself and try to keep that color looking fresh, used in different color palettes and different themes along the way. And also, I just want the bookmark to look nice whenever it's placed across any page. I want it to coordinate with the color scheme. I know that's just a small detail, but it makes me happy, so I'm going to go for it. And one more quick thing before I start the time lapse of the setup, I picked up an amazing pack of paint markers for my bullet journal on Amazon, and I'm so impressed I want to share them with you. This is a dual-ended acrylic marker, and one side, as you can see, has a very fine, flexible brush nib, which is great for coloring illustrations, but also for calligraphy. The other end is a dot marker, and it will make perfect circles in various sizes depending on how much pressure you apply. Dot markers are great in bullet journaling because they're great for marking habit trackers. All of the markers come in this storage case that's included. There are 60 markers. I have all of the Rainbow Bright colors here, and then I've sorted out, for this little tip-in in the case, I've sorted out all of my earth tones and a couple of metallics there. On the flip side of the tip-in, there are my collection here of the flesh tone markers and a few neon colors as well. So it's a great color distribution in those 60 markers. You get a lot of different kinds of colors. And I believe I paid $29.99, which works out to be about 50 cents a marker. That's in US dollars. I will link this set in the description box so you can check it out if you are wanting to get a set for yourself. So I'm starting on the time lapse now for my cover art. I'm going to start off with a little bit of modern calligraphy or bounce lettering for the word August. And then I'm using a couple of tombos, one in that mulberry color that's number 757, and then also a dark purple one to draw the framework for a simple flower with some leaves. And then I'm going to color in those leaves over top of the tombow with that opaque paint marker in an olive green. This is a gel pen. It's a classic Jelly Rolls purple, and I'm using it to write out my motivational quote here for my cover page. And now I'm going to go back in and thicken up the downstroke of each letter. This lettering technique is called foligraphy, and it's a great way to make your lettering resemble calligraphy even if you don't have like a brush tip pen. For the inside of the frame that I've drawn on the left page, I am going to repeat that same simple flower design, but this time I'm going to have it coming off of a vine. And the vine is great for the kind of illustrations I want this month because it's a way to get some graceful curves, and you can fill up any shape of space with it just by going slowly. I like to work in sections. I don't like to fill up the whole space with like the purple vine at the beginning. I like to work in sections just to make sure that everything balances, because I am freehanding it. I'm not using a pencil to sketch it out first. I found out the first flower that I drew under the word August that the pencil showed through. When I did that, it showed through the marker on top of it. So I did not want to do that again. So here's a look at the cover page. It was pretty simple to do, and it's going to set the tone for the rest of the pages in the setup. Moving on to the second spread of the month, I'm setting up my calendar, and I'm using floating boxes for the format this month. The boxes are 6 dot grid squares down and 5 dot grid squares across, which I find is the right size aesthetically to fit the page if you're trying to fill up most of the page. And also it's great because the squares are roomy enough that I can fit multiple appointments in each of the boxes if I need to. I'm going to come over to the empty space in the margin here, and I'm going to do another little vine. This is going to be the exact same style of vine as I did on the cover page. Reusing that same style of art on each page not only makes the setup very cohesive, but it also really simplified the process for me. I didn't have to spend a lot of time thinking of a fresh kind of illustration for every single page, and I was able to complete this setup in record time. Here is a look at the completed calendar. And moving on to the third spread for August, this is going to be a list of my monthly tasks. I will lay these out for myself in the beginning of the month and then just try to chip away at them as much as I can as I go throughout the weeks ahead. I'm also going to include my habit tracker on this spread. And I just want to mention, because I'm excited about it, I just want to mention that this month marks my 5th year of bullet journaling. I did my very first ever bullet journal setup in August of 2019, and it has really just, fundamentally changed my lifestyle since I fell into the bullet journaling world. It has really helped me clarify my priorities over the last several years. It has helped me stay on track and stay motivated. And, not every month is perfect. I don't always get my habit trackers filled out, and I'm known to abandon my journal for a week or two at a time occasionally if I get burnt out on it. But the important thing is that, I just keep coming back to it because I find that it is such an effective way for me to manage my life and my responsibilities, but it's also, really fun and therapeutic to set it up. It has helped me so much in building art skills for illustration and design. And I just owe a lot to Ryder Carroll for inventing it. I owe a lot to Amanda Rach Lee for her videos 5 years ago. She is the YouTuber who really taught me how to bullet journal. Her Bujo videos are truly iconic, and if you have somehow found my channel without knowing who she is, let me recommend that you check her out because she is the queen of all things Bujo. But getting back to the time lapse, what I'm doing right now is setting up for all of my weekly spreads, which I'm going to contain in a group of Dutch doors here. So I have 5 weeks in August. That means I've cut 4 flaps or Dutch doors for those weeks. The first week of the month only has 4 days in it, so the first week is going to be a little different than the others. It's just the month starts on Thursday, so I'm just going to fill up this area with the first 4 days, the first 4 days, 2 days being the weekend, and then I'll have a box there for tasks. Now I flipped over to the next week. This is going to be what the rest of the weeks look like for the most part. They're going to have 6 boxes for the days. I have, Monday through Friday is 5, and then I share a box for Saturday and Sunday for the weekend. And then I will have one of these boxes reserved again for a task list on each page. There's 1 box left over on each of these pages, so I'm going to stamp a miniature calendar so I can highlight off which week of the month I'm in on any given page. And then I'm going to add these little polka dot stickers. These are called point dots, and I'm going to use them kind of like a bullet list so I can put in areas that I want to focus on for each week. And I don't usually do a focus list like that, but I'm going to try it out for August and see if I get anything out of it or not. I'm just going to put like concepts or specific tasks or even like philosophical things, anything that I just want to be thinking about and focusing on, paying attention to as I go through a particular week. So that's what these little dots are for. These were actually gifted to me by the Graby Company. They came in the scrapbooking box for last August, 2023. If you guys have never seen the Graby scrapbooking box, I have to recommend it. I get stuff sometimes from companies, and some of it is better than others. I would say one of my favorite things that I've ever been gifted was that Graby scrapbooking box. I found that most of the scrapbooking supplies in it were also transferable to bullet journaling as well. And I felt like they just really do a quality monthly subscription box. So I will link that in my description box as well if you want to check out what they're doing over at Graby. I have flipped back over now to the first week of the month, the first Dutch Door flap. And because that is a short week, it only had the 4 days, I have extra room to fill up. And so I have filled those with my In the News section, where I like to keep track of interesting current events. And then I have a few lines highlighted off for my playlist, so I can put my favorite songs from the month down as a memory. And of course, I'm going to go back in and do vines on the 2 leftover spaces on the left and right of the Dutch door layout. At this point in the setup, I had done quite a few of these little vines, so I was getting very comfortable with drawing them out, and it became faster and easier for me to do it, and I liked the results better too. And that's just how practice works, I guess. But that's my tip. If you want to try a design like this, if you haven't done it before, even though I don't recommend pencil under the Tombow marker, like I said, you could practice doing it on some scrap paper before you started freehanding it into your notebook if you wanted to, because just a couple of practice runs with it can greatly improve the results, I find, for myself anyway. And as I mentioned earlier, I completed this setup in record time. It took me 2.5 hours of actually rendering out the designs and setting up all the pages and trackers and daily boxes and stuff. It was exactly 2.5 hours of footage that I had to edit down to the 14 minutes of this video. And I have to say, it was very refreshing to just spend an afternoon putting these pages together and then being done with it. Sometimes I get a little more technical in the illustrations and it takes me longer than that, but this month was very easy breezy and fun, so it's a good one to try. I would love to know if you give it a shot. Let me know in the comments or tag me on Instagram if you post your journal online. So here's a look at the completed weekly Dutch doors, and that's going to bring us into our final flip through for the month of August. So as always, thank you so much for checking out the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you will give me a like if you did, and consider subscribing if you enjoy inspirational journal content like this. I do post a plan with me every month, and I'm also interested in your suggestions if there are any topics you would like to see in a video on this channel. I would love to consider your suggestions and see if I can make some of those videos happen. If you have any questions about techniques or materials or bullet journaling in general, feel free to hit me up in the comments. I will try to help you out if I can. Thanks again for journaling with me today. You can find me on Instagram at Bright Violet Arts. Until next time, wishing a happy August to all, and of course, happy journaling.